A little bit before, you're seeing a lot more data and information than you ever normally would in a proposal setting. What we wanted to do was give you the ability to see all the partners behind the scenes, how we got here in the vetting out process. The one thing that we really didn't talk about, John, Debbie, and I vetted out for 2 years an enormous amount of cases. We interviewed multiple TPAs around the country and vetting out the process, because obviously we have a vested interest in protecting your clients, our clients, and the overall financial integrity of our program. I'm going to skip to the section on a case study, okay? The first thing, if I were to select one phrase or word, it's control. I'll to give you a little background, I've been in the employee benefits business for 39 years. Every client that I meet or prospect has one thing in common. They want to reclaim control over their employee benefit spend. That pretty much is universal. What we've tried to build is partner with different vendors and carriers to create and maintain the integrity of our CapCare program, okay? But you need data. From my perspective, for every 100 employees, we typically see $1 million spent. How do you manage $1 million spent without access to data, okay? Whether it be Blue Cross, Cignas, the Aetnas, United Healthcares of the world. This is a case that we have in New Jersey. It actually was interesting because the client is in the healthcare field. They have 5 medical facilities in New Jersey, 6 nursing homes down in Florida. This group renewed January 1st, Horizon Blue Cross in New Jersey. They had some very large claimants, one of which passed away, unfortunately, as well. But they were faced with a 27% increase. They already had a pooling point of $250,000 in their program. So our program was set up, okay, here we're doing the next layer of $150,000. In current spend, what that employer was facing, they have 1,100 employees, 837 on plan. They had 2 unions. Their policy was a $7.8 million spend. They had a $1.9 million increase. When I'm looking at with a client going from fully insured to self-funded, to me, the only thing to do from an integrity standpoint is I got to look at it in worst case scenario. If I maximize my claims, worst case scenario, where am I relative to my existing plan? In this particular group, it couldn't have been, it was a pretty easy discussion with the employer. They're in the healthcare field, they manage healthcare facilities, they understand the business. They were facing a $9.7 million spend, maximum exposure of $6.4 million, $3.2 million spend. So that was a very compelling situation, obviously a little larger employer than most of us may be working with. Our program is set for groups of 100 or more enrolled, because typically as we go around the country, we need data. We need 2 years of information to be able to prudently run it through the system and actually project what the savings are going to be, okay? Most claims run within that first layer. Obviously, there's only typically a minimum amount of claims that go into the captive layer. In this example, the other thing that comes into play, it relies on ELAP. And Regis, you didn't go into a lot of the detail in terms of reporting. The level of reporting and access to information that we have as consultants, and each of you would have not only as employers and consultants, is incredible. Way better than the Aetnas and the Blue Crosses of the world provide. Because how else are you going to manage it, okay? When we partnered with ELAP, we can do a passive discount, use a Cigna network, but that's not materially different than anything else than we're doing in the open marketplace. What we felt was materially different, as ELAP is growing around the country, Tom just showed up here, there was 121 clients that they have, groups here in the Atlanta region. The numbers are compelling. It's 583% is the increase on Medicare. Where we are in New Jersey, we're the most egregious state in the union at 985% of Medicare, okay? So when you